There's power in vulnerability. And like we've talked about many times, it's okay to show the scar. It's not like you're showing the wound.
Right. I love that saying. That's one of my favorite sayings that you taught me way back when we started working together. All right, welcome back to the Dr. Crockett Show. I'm your host, Dr. Susan Crockett, and we have a super fun episode today. It's our 1 year happy birthday to the Dr. Crockett Show episode, and to celebrate, I have my co-host. There we go. You want a cookie? Come on. You want a cookie? Yeah. Yeah, my co-host, Ollie. He's the founder of Ollie-Woodstudios, which, of course, is the name of the studio where Dr. Crockett is filmed. You want another cookie? What do you think about our birthday? You think our birthday's pretty good? Do you think our birthday's pretty good? He just wants cookies. You're such a good dog. We have got a special episode for everybody today because about a year ago, we launched this show, and we've been in beta for about the year. We've been learning how to do YouTube. We've been learning how to do social media. I've been learning how to do this better and include you all, and I'm so grateful for all of you that have joined us on this journey for the Dr. Crockett Show, where we go where the scalpel doesn't reach, because, get it, I'm a surgeon, and this show is all about wellness and stuff. You're doing so good keeping the hat on. This show's about going where the doggy reaches, right? Oh, you're so cute. Yes, you're so good. So here's the thing is we get really busy with life sometimes. We get all kinds of hard stuff going on, and it's really important to stop and celebrate and eat the cookies and the cupcakes. Do you see these little cute cupcakes? Ollie doesn't even care about the cupcakes. He cares about the cookie. Here you go. Good dog. Oh, you're such a good boy. Mm-hmm. You're keeping your hat on? Yeah. So we're stopping to have a little celebration today amongst the craziness, but I thought I'd give you guys some stats about what we've done even in beta launch, because I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We're getting ready to hard launch. We have done no marketing. We've done no email. We've done no email funnels. Don't you hate those things? Yeah. We've done very little other than really try to bring you the most amazing content and best guests that we possibly can. I hope you go back over the last year and check out some of our fantastic episodes. We've had really incredible wellness guests and speakers. We've had a wonderful time, and there's much, much more coming in the next year. But here's what we've done just with beta. We've done about 20,000 views on our Facebook Reels. We've had about 30,000 a year views from our Instagram. Thank you very much for interacting with us that way. Ollie says, thank you so much, and I want another cookie. And we, our YouTube channel, which is the longer format, of course, that we're doing here, our YouTube channel has over 8,000 views. We're going to be working on building subscriptions. Please like and share and share with your friends, and give us some comments. Tell me what else you want to hear on the Dr. Crockett Show. We have some plans, but we're always looking for things that you want to see that help you in your life too. The last thing I'm going to say is our podcast is about to hit 100 episodes. So I'm going to save the statistics on our sister podcast, which is called Becoming Virtuosa. You can find us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, anywhere you listen to your podcast. So if you want to listen to our show while you're working out in the gym or in the car driving, that is a great way to catch us every week. We release every week on Tuesday. So this episode, we're going to go back for a very special look back to our very first episode with my good friend, Starley Murray. So look back and enjoy. Ollie and I are going to have a little bit more cookie and a little birthday cake. Yeah? Yeah? What do you think, Ollie? You want some birthday cake? Should we do that? Yeah. Happy birthday, y'all. Enjoy. I'm so excited to have you on the show today, Starley.
I'm really excited. So, well, Dr. Crockett, I have to tell you, you've done an amazing job. I've already been learning behind the scenes.
You have?
Yes, I have, because you walk your talk.
Now she's got me worried, guys. Here's the difficult thing about having somebody who knows you on the TV show.
Right?
She's going to spill the beans, aren't you?
Well, of course.
Why else would we be here?
Yeah, it's good television.
Well, so this is kind of what our show is. It's the first episode. We want to tell our guests a little bit about the format of the show, why we're doing this, why you're here, why we chose this topic, which is sharing your heart for our first episode. So first of all, I want to introduce y'all to Ollie. This is Ollie, my little amazing dog. Our studio is called Ollie-Woodstudios, and he is our chaperone. He has his own little Ollie cam. I'm sure we'll break that out later. But he's the most important part of the show.
Yeah, we're all extras.
We're all extras. Ollie is the thing. So we decided to start the show because I'm a physician. I'm actually a surgeon. And I realized that there were a lot of conversations I was having with patients in the office privately that had nothing to do with surgery, right? I fix the people that need fixing.
Yeah.
But we started having conversations about things that cause healing and well-being where the scalpel can't reach. And so that kind of became the theme of this, is how do we share those conversations for helping us become our better selves and healthier selves for those things where we're going where the scalpel can't go.
I love it. I love it. Well, and I'm just a walking, talking testament to that, because that's how I originally met you, was in the doctor's office and hearing those life-changing comments and recommendations. And really, more than that, just I saw the fact that you cared in just in a deeper way than, I see.
Yeah, thanks, Starley. So we decided we wanted to do a show. The format, as you can see, is very conversational. We're going to be having all kinds of guests on. We've got financial planners coming on. I've got other doctor friends coming on. Mm-hmm. I've got other female entrepreneurs coming on. Authors, male, female, authors, speakers.
Ollie.
Yeah, we do have a very special episode, Ollie episode. He was actually the first one. Yeah.
I know. My cheeks are still hurting because I'm smiling so big. Ollie, you don't want to be on the same set as Ollie. He totally upstaged you.
You're the show.
Yeah.
That'll be coming up. That'll be fun. So welcome to the show, and welcome, Starley Murray.
Thank you so much.
So today we're talking about sharing your heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you've always been very generous with your love and your praise with me. And then acknowledging that that's not just something I like to do with my hands like so many of us do, but thank you for always acknowledging me and seeing me.
Well, you're welcome. And you know what? I think that's maybe one of the most important things about what I wanted to share with our audience today is this show didn't come about just because I thought, I want to expose myself to the whole world, No, I'm actually kind of camera shy.
Right.
So, you're also my media coach. This has been a long time coming, but this really is coming from my heart wanting to share with you. And so I see you. I want to get to know you a little bit better. If you find that this is something fun that you enjoy looking at and you like our topics of conversation, I hope that you'll help us share that with others, because this topic is really what the whole show is. It's sharing our heart, no matter what we do. And that's how the whole thing came about.
Yeah, I know there's that golden thread that's throughout, many of your episodes. And that's why it was just so cool that we started, had this first episode being specifically about sharing your heart.
Yeah.
And people ask me all the time, well, how do you share your heart with others, right? Because a lot of us share our love and our heart in different ways.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
We're like acts of service in our family,
Yeah.
And, for me, if you feed me, I'm like,
it's all in, especially if it's vegetables.
Oh, yeah. It goes a long way.
Sprouts.
Yeah. I've got a secret greens thing.
Yeah. It's not a secret anymore.
No. Outed.
So I have kind of a funny story about sharing my heart.
Yeah.
I'm dating.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole nother episode. In fact, I think we have a guest that's coming up that we're going to do about dating over
relationships.
Yeah, during middle age. But
so cool.
The sharing your heart with others when it comes to romantic relationships or that kind of relationship. I've gotten my heart broken a couple times. We got some stories, y'all. We got stories. Well, stay tuned. But some of the advice that I got recently was well, you just go into too much, both feet in. You should hold back a little bit. Don't go wholeheartedly into things. And I just thought, you know what, that's just not me. I can't do it.
Well, that's the advice that the people that are closest to you that we want to give you because we love you and we want to protect you. But I agree with you when you say you should just go for it.
Yeah. Like I would much rather have loved deeply, loved and lost than not loved at all. Or you know what the other thing about it is? If you kind of go in tiptoeing and like half-hearted.
How does that work out?
It just prolongs the agony. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't make it better.
Yeah.
It doesn't protect your heart. In fact, it may be worse because you go in longer.
Yeah, it doesn't give you your best start.
Yeah.
And that's no different than, outside of the, intimate dating relationships. That's just putting your heart out there for others in general. I know that, a lot of times we want to be, I want to be careful what I say and I don't hurt someone's feelings. And so I get that. That's messaging is one thing, but just your energy and your demeanor and putting your heart out there is another. And I think one of the biggest lessons that I got was literally from I'm going to say it, cassette tape.
Oh, no.
That is a audio.
What was that?
A thing that you can, okay, I'm old. But Zig Ziglar, it was the first positive male role model voice I heard growing up.
On a cassette tape.
Cassette tape.
Yep.
And all I remember this man saying was, you can have everything you want in life if you just help enough other people get what they want. And I went, well, that's cool because I already like to help people.
Yeah, that's how your nature is to be a helper. Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Awesome.
Thank you, Zig Ziglar. Yeah. So it was a big touching moment to meet him too. Yeah. So first big fatherly hug I ever had. And
wow.
Wouldn't trade it for a million.
That's quite a hug.
$1 million. Oh yeah. It was $1 million hug from a dad.
Sweet. So what do you think are some of the challenges for sharing our heart? Because, heartbreak is definitely one of the risks. Can you think of others,
Well, I thought of this interesting challenge because you know how we bring our heart into, like you said, full on with our relationships, right? Our family, intimate dating relationships, but in our business, like when is that weird crossover? Like, I grew up in a family business, so we were so heart-centered, heart first.
Yeah.
But, I think that you can have healthy boundaries and still share your heart.
Right.
I remember a crazy gig that I did, a production gig where it was one of those, like, if we had an hour, I could literally tell you that many details of how many things went wrong and how hard it was.
Wow.
But I'm going to give you this 30-second version, which is not even that long, which is basically, it was one of the hardest jobs I'd ever done. And at any point in time, no one would have thought much if I would have walked off the set because a lot of other people walked off the set. It was a situation where people weren't being very good to the crew and all of that. But I thought, you know what, this isn't a reflection upon how they're treating me. This is a reflection of my standards. And I was new. This was 25 plus years ago. And I stuck the whole gig out.
Yeah, you were like 12 years old.
I was. Here's your $50, or is it $100? What is it? Oh, it's wine.
Wine.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Gotcha. So yeah, when I was 12, I did that gig
and stuck it out.
I stuck it out, and I did it just for those standards. But guess what ended up happening? Because I shared my heart during a challenge, I ended up getting called out by the producers of America's Most Wanted to work with them, and then I went from like makeup to set design to producing national TV. Just because they had heard of me on that one crazy job. So my tip on that is sharing your heart is do the right thing even when you think nobody's looking.
That's a great tip. Like, I think we should put that like
Ding,
right
ding,
here.
Bing.
Bing. Tip number 1.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Super cool. I love it.
I think the other thing that is really important for us to talk about a little bit more is that importance of setting boundaries. Because like in this relationship thing that I'm going through, it's not like I'm going all like splashing myself all over the place.
Right.
I'm certainly not the needy chick. Probably the opposite. But so being wholehearted or going into a relationship wholeheartedly doesn't mean you don't do it without boundaries. So we do have our like protective bubble about where we have our where our self ends and the other person begins.
Yeah. Well, doctor, I would say, though, that I totally respect what you're saying, because you're talking about healthy boundaries, not push people away boundaries as much as you are setting standards, and they're healthy. So I totally agree with you. And that's where a lot of us get confused, because we think a boundary is just shutting someone off, or maybe just protecting you and your bubble.
It's not.
But it's that's actually about just establishing standards of how you think you should be treated and
how you'll interact with somebody in the world.
How you interact.
So tip number 2 is set your boundaries.
Yeah, healthy boundaries for sure.
Healthy boundaries.
Yeah. Ding! Oh my gosh. You didn't say that I couldn't be dorky. That was not in the email.
It was in the fine print. I'm sorry you missed it.
Darn. Too late now.
Well, those are some good tips. You got any others for us?
Yeah. So let's see. I would say I'm going to go back to that one about setting standards. There's a difference between, so I would say that a lot of your viewers and my viewers also, they're givers, helpers, healers, and they tend to put themselves out there so much that they are thinking, well, if I do this, am I being taken advantage of?
Right.
You said, again, back to setting your own standards. I didn't leave that set because I didn't want that to be how I dealt with a challenge.
Yeah.
Now, do I want to go back to another one of those? No. I learned the lesson, check mark, feel good about it. And wow, and got a hidden reciprocity or a hidden reward that I didn't expect. And I was shocked, and it was a career changer for me. Because after starting to do the national producing and working with one celeb at that kind of national level, then it was Schwarzenegger and Tommy Lee Jones, and
wow,
the list goes on.
What was that like?
Well, it was hilarious because they said this was back before I was producing, and it was I made some of those connections as the artist, as a image expert, and they said, "Yeah, we understand that you're the top celebrity image expert we should work with." And as soon as I hung up, I told my assistant, "They think I'm a celebrity." I was like, wow, because it was a funky title. But here's the cool thing: is like earning people's admiration. I mean, I teach people about how to have an influencer brand, but it's not just be a Just Add Water expert. Learn, spend a lot of money on marketing and branding, and then make yourself that. There's an earning that. I've seen you. You've been walking the talk, and you have the years of experience. Thanks. And the success stories in yourself and with others. And so, yeah, when, I always say, if you're not branding yourself, other people will brand you. Well, but still try to think about what is important to your target market and, your audience, the people that you serve, and how are they going to think of you? So that just affects your language. But in the end, they're going to brand you. If they think right. that you are the great conversational, that you pull these great tips and stories out of people like you do, they're already thinking that.
Yeah. That's a really good point. Thanks. So, we're kind of blending into or running into different ways of sharing your heart. So kind of started with relationships. We got our friendship relationship, which is amazing. And, the romantic side, partners. But we also share our heart through our businesses. Yeah. And I don't want to forget that, because I think so often when we're on our working day and we're in our working mode, we tend to sometimes think of it just as a job. Yeah. Not me. I just love what I do. It's really fun. I call the OR my happy place, which is awesome. And I tell this story frequently where, over the years and seeing thousands of patients, as a physician, you never have the choice of who is going to be on the other side of the door, right? And it's taken me a long time, but it's also molded who I am to learn how to open that door and just love whoever is on the other side, meet them where they are, and take care of them and help fix them. So I think for me in the workplace, it's a very easy thing. I think for me on the camera, this has been a challenge. I'm learning that. That's another way of sharing your heart through business. Not everybody can relate to sharing their heart through the camera, and not everybody's going to be on camera, but some are. Right. But everybody works. Yeah. And I think when we learn in our work life, no matter what we're doing, what our employment is or what we're doing, if we are able to start looking at our clients or the people that we serve with our heart and how we can serve them and help them, then it makes the workday a whole lot better, for one, and the work environment with others better too.
I feel you. I definitely feel you. And, so sharing your heart in business, like you were saying, regardless of the camera situation, I mean, a lot of people know me as the media trainer part. So, that comes up a lot. But it doesn't matter whether you are in person, you're proctoring, you're on stage, you're training, your one-to-one groups. But many businesses are to the point where they are going to be on a webcam or something.
Right.
And so I think the point about having that sharing your heart to camera is, if I don't have somebody there in person, how do I connect with them and really, let them feel the things that they can't feel when they're not in person.
Like, how can we help our audience feel part of this conversation today?
Exactly. So, I mean, for you, it's your audience. So you're going to reference them more by looking at the camera. And for me, I'm going to look at you more because as a guest, I would look at the host a little bit more. And so those are just a couple of little tactical things. But let's... All right. When we think we're Vannas or something, But I would say that just to go deeper, that applies to everyone. When we are, for me, I grew up in a house where you don't be seen, don't be heard, because that'll be a bad difference, right? Yep. You can't make a difference.
Blend in and be quiet.
All right.
Stay out of the way.
Right. Domestic violence is, in helping to caretake for my brother, co-parenting for quite a few years, about a decade.
Wow.
My main thought was I'm a person behind the scenes. And that's why I produced and I was production crew for over 10 years before I did the other 10, 15, 20 years. You get at a point where you stop taking claim for all your credit. I was like, throw that page of the resume away. That's too many. It's too many. Just go with the top one. Because it's like, oh, I'm old. But I love what I do. I love what I do. So I would say, in closing on that is, if you being seen, being heard, and making a difference, what are some tactical tips on that to make it easy? And one is, you don't even think about the camera or the audience or other people watching when your main goal is to, fall in love with them and serve them. And a lot of times we fall in love with our service, because I know I get really proud, right? You've seen me over the years. I want to look here. We got this and we got that. I'm so excited. But at any point in time, if it's about what I want to do and not what's important to you, I can't lose that connection.
Right.
So I'd say fall in love with your client more than your service. Mm-hmm. And also, when you are in that moment, you don't even remember that there's a camera on you.
Right.
And then the last thing I would say about that is that, people forgive flaws, they don't forgive fakes. So it's okay to make mistakes. In fact, some of my faux pas, on a stage or camera or TV, that's the stuff that they like you, because they get to see you being yourself, or how you gracefully recover, or how you, are okay with your nerdness, whatever.
It's your vulnerability, your authenticity.
Yeah, well, there's power in vulnerability. And like we've talked about many times, it's okay to show the scar. It's not like you're showing the wound.
Right. I love that saying. That's one of my favorite sayings that you taught me way back when we started working together. And at first I had to think about it. Like, what does that mean to show somebody the scar, not the wounds? And, it really means not to show all the bloody mess and the gore behind it. It's to show the story, to tell the story with the perspective of, okay, this is something that happened. Here's what I learned. Here's what I'm sharing out of that story as my soul continues to grow on this journey. And thanks for sharing that part of you with me as I share mine with you.
Well, misery loves company, but we'd all prefer to have like a leader of inspiration who can show you the way and give you these success tips and show you how not to stay in misery. Yeah. So the other thing, the wound is almost a symbol of pride and achievement. And, the scar, whereas the wound is still going through it. And here's just a little quick tip for a lot of us who aren't used to sharing our vulnerability in a moment in a story, in some sort of a tip. If you're reliving it, to the point where it's making you not feel good in that moment, then that's where we want to have a little bit more work, on ourselves.
Healing.
Yeah, a little more healing, before we maybe do that sharing. It's okay to not do that. You do it when you're ready.
Yep.
But what you should be feeling is a sense of pride and empowerment that you're helping others not go down that path that you've been, so you can save them some time and save them a scar.
Save them a scar. Yeah, I've got a great example of a scar. I didn't even share this with you.
Oh,
It's
no.
gonna crack you up. Okay, I don't know if you can see it, but I put some makeup on it. I have a scar right here, right?
Near your heart?
Near my heart. There's a scar here. And it's so stupid. Somebody asked me the other day, like, where did you get that scar from? Well, it's from vanity. How stupid is that, right? So I used to do these face peels, right? And they're, pretty strong acid face peel. And when I was younger, before transitioning into menopause, my skin could handle it. Yeah. And the last time I did one, this skin was too delicate for it, and it actually burned it. And so, I'm not going to sit here and tell you about all the gory details and cry about it, because that would be being in the wound of it in the moment. But the way I share the scar story is I got this little reminder here that my beauty is not external, and also not to do the face peels anymore on my skin because it just can't handle it anymore.
But, and the cool thing about sharing, say, even that specific story is, you're a doctor, right? And a lot of people will say, oh, that makes me to feel better, and I can relate to you more because I do stuff like that. And I think about look, you know what? We're all a bunch of little Easter eggs, and we can decorate ourselves however we want, right? And it's okay if we want to do peels or not do peels, and there shouldn't be, judgment with all that. But when you did have some sort of an oopsie, it does actually make people feel better, because not only are they going down similar paths, but then they feel this camaraderie, or this, that they can relate to you. Like, oh, I didn't know she thought about stuff like that too.
Yes.
They kind of see you as, oh, I'm Dr. Crockett,
Please.
Well,
I mean, thank you.
Yeah. We had to teach each other that one. Yeah, it's like that other phrase I love. I have to do versus I get to do.
I know that. Well, that's a really good one that I use a lot in my office too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I have to correct myself all the time, So when I catch myself saying I have to do this, I go, I get to do, and I reframe that in my head. Because if it's something I don't want to do, then I should have maybe look at some different life choices,
Yeah. Yeah. Not everybody gets to do the day.
Yeah.
Every day is a gift.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to say that I love the way that you share your heart with not just your audience, but with your guests. And I'm going to out you since...
no.
Did you see that? It's like, nobody can get... Only media trainers can get those reactions within a split second. But I want to tell people that... So I've been on over 3,000 television productions.
That's amazing.
Okay.
Yes.
And, I'm a record holder for lifestyle appearances on local and nationally syndicated TV. I can't remember going into one of them where I got greeted in the same way that you greet me, which is to come in the door and you call it a vortex.
Yeah.
And she lures you in with your favorite foods. And yes. Like I say lures because we always have these lures, where we give free content and stuff. So you give me free snacks. And so you get people comfortable, and then you have a collaborative moment where you talk about what are we going to share with the audience.
Yes.
And it's not an overly structured, with scripts or anything like that. We'll hit a couple of bullets maybe, but we break bread, so to speak.
Well, literally, I think that's one of the most important things about how our show has evolved. It's taken us a long time to get to where we are here. I think that having people come in and eating together and sharing stories and getting to know each other over the food for that hour or two before we come up here to the studio, I think that is the thing. That sharing that heart and sharing the healthy food is like a huge dopamine endorphin lifter. And then out of those conversations, we get to curate what we want to share with the audience on this 30-minute, 20-minute, 30-minute podcast. I think that's my niche. I think we found a niche.
I love it. Yeah, I've got little hidden cameras down there in the kitchen. I'm like this angle and that angle. Here's the food camera, and then here's the vortex.
The
camera.
The table. That's where everything happens. The energy.
You've got all your virtuosas and your virtuosas. That you cultivate into your vortex, and you have that collaboration, and it's very unique. And that's one of the things that I think for a unique selling proposition. I'm sorry, it's the branding person in me, or just...
She can't help it.
I can't help it, yeah.
Really can't.
Nerd alert, let me tell you. But, but just being an audience member and saying, wow, how does she get so much rapport? Is she best friends with everyone that she puts on that set? Because not everyone, did you have... as much rapport with, or well, I don't say rapport, but I'll just say long-term relationships. Yeah, and it's just classic how you do that. It's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited about moving forward with that, branching out and actually sharing more meals and healthy conversations with more and more people. So, if you guys have ideas about, Ollie's had enough.
Ollie has an idea.
Ollie has an idea. He's like, I'm going to the other side to take a nap. If you guys have interesting ideas about who you'd like to see on the show, or who you'd like to see me have a conversation for or with, just comment below. Yeah. Be sure to leave a comment and let me know.
I think it's awesome. And I think that we should, she's going to kill me. I'm like, I think she should request recipes too.
Oh.
Because I want to see the guest comments in with what was eaten that day.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think it's really cool. I didn't ask permission to out her on that. But the thing is she's just incredibly brave. So, I know you as a top robotics surgeon, and you try to throw a shoe at me when I try to I have to stand really far away when I'm like, what is it? It's like, no, wait, less than 1% or the 1 percentile. I never get it perfect because she tries to interrupt me every time. But it's your credentials are huge, and so the last thing people expect is you're going to be in there cooking with your heart.
I know.
And you were in there serving it up on a plate, my friend.
It's so much fun. I never would have been somebody who cooks, and my story that I went whole food plant-based. Well, mostly whole food plant-based about a year ago.
You're my we're gonna get shirts that say mostly vegan.
Mostly vegan, and not crap vegan, not Cheetos.
Good vegan.
I know, good vegan, no refined stuff. So that's a whole nother topic for another show. But I think the point is we've been able to cultivate that healing food as a medicine, right?
Yeah.
Into the conversations and incorporate that into the show, which is about, becoming your virtuosa self.
It is. And actually, it fits nicely. So we've got our, the intro to the show of what, the Dr. Crockett Show is about, and that common thread of, heart and love. And then your seed, that's this one, right? On love. And so our segment today, sharing your heart, to the world, to yourself, through challenge, and even in business, because you got to have heart in business, right? And then lastly, and most importantly, is how you pull it all together behind the scenes, what people can't even see, and how you collaborate, and that is with love. So coincidentally, the vortex and the food that you put together is just a way for us to pull us all closer together. And it makes it really special moments, and it's something I know not everybody gets to see, so I had to say that.
Well,
so thank you for that so much.
Thank you, Starley. I think this is the way businesses are evolving. I think we're on the edge of a evolution, a societal revolution, and I think in the past, businesses haven't always had heart. Capitalism is a nasty word to some people, but I think what we're seeing is more and more people looking at the purpose and the people and sharing their heart as the main thing, instead of the money being the main thing. Money will flow when you do the right thing and treat people the right way. So
yeah. Well, definitely. I mean, people think brands are cool, but people are inspired by people.
Yep. Well, thank you for being my first guest, Starley. I'm so grateful. What a fun show. Thanks for joining us.